Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So today is the 31st of April, and it's been a very, very intense financial year. And finally, we come to a close. We closed off the markets with quite a somber note, with quite big sell-offs in big names: Reliance, HDFC Bank, ICICI, Infi. Overall, the day the market was very sideways. We had a few swings here and there, and since there's always an expectation of move, we had to correct for such swings. But overall, a very sideways day. That being said, the premiums were quite high towards the close as well, but did not want to carry an overnight position, as I'm just sticking to that approach for now. Don't want to take any overnight risk. And overall was a decent day, captured a little more than 10 points. Lost quite a bit to slippage towards the end, so 2-3 points to slippage towards the end, and in between as well. Unfortunately, had my stop losses hit at not a point where I would have liked to hit it, so misplaced them. So an execution error, lost about 4-5 points there. But overall, a decent 2% return for the day, and going into an expiry with decent premiums on both sides. I hope you had a good trading day. And I've also used the new software today to place some orders. One of my friends, Shiva, helped me put it together and set it up for me. So shout out to Shiva, and you can see me using that software today as well. It's quite convenient. It's a very simple software. Basically breaks down orders into multiple orders using Zerodha's APIs. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you at the next one. Have a great evening.
Want to meet like-minded traders and discuss option strategies, adjustments and more? Just type in Discuss Nifty in your Telegram search box and join the friendly trader community.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The time is 9:48, and so what I did was I entered with the 14,500 put and 15,000 call, and this I entered basically with the spread of it being 27 on one side and 17. So it was imbalanced to begin with. It was a bullish sort of an assumption because we got a good dip at the open, and the idea was to use this dip to sell a put that was more expensive because we were expecting support around 14,700. Right now, from the open interest, the strikes that are nearby in round figures, 14,500 has a good amount of support built up, and 15,000 has a massive resistance built up. We'll be tracking and seeing what the different changes in OI is for now from the open. There has been quite a bit of call writing at 14,800, which is more or less where we are. And the reason we've initially created a triangle which was bullish is because lately we're seeing with an up move, the calls are always apparently underpriced at the open because they crash a lot at the open and then they regain a lot of value. So that being said, this is the plan. Also, I have purchased this new software which should help me place orders. So the first time I'm using it in the live market, and so the idea is I should press 1 and should place all these stop loss market orders, and yeah, it works as intended. And cool, we'll keep you posted on how the days go. Currently what is happening is we moved up, we took resistance at 14,800, and now we've started dipping back towards 14,750. This is a 500 points triangle, and tomorrow at open should not be worth more than 10 or 15 points best case. So we'll keep you posted through the day. We'll not make any downside adjustment until we convincingly break 14,700, in which case we'll move the call down one strike and leave the puts exactly at 14,500. That will be the plan. Okay, we're seeing a slight rise from 14,750 again, and during that the calls will slightly go up in price. I'm going to use this opportunity to move about 2/5 of our call position to 14,950, taking in more credit. Well, this out of 5 orders, 2 should reject. It's good. It means 2 perfect. 2 have rejected, and the other SLMs have been placed. Perfect. Okay, so far great review on the software, working quite well. So this rise from 14,750 I've used as an opportunity to move 2/3 of the calls down. So actually selling calls into the rise, because there's a good amount of 14,800 build up. There shouldn't be too much upside. At the same time, our triangle, it was kind of imbalanced when we were heading below 14,750. Okay, so we're seeing a dip towards the day's low again, and the idea is this should probably still act as a support. We've seen some put writing at that point, but to lock in some of the gains, we have moved down. Out of the 3/5 of calls that were remaining at 15,000, we moved 2/3 of them to 14,900 and moved 3/5 of them to 14,950. So this essentially gives us more or less a sideways view. We're expecting 14,800 to act as some kind of ceiling, and if we start heading towards 14,800, once again the idea will be to move away the calls, but until then the calls will be quite aggressive at 14,900. Effectively, even though all of our puts are at 14,500, this position will act as a bearish position, because a slight reversal of 20-30 points, these puts will crash by 6-7 points, whereas these calls might go up more than that. So for now, this is what the position looks like. The idea is very simple. If we start breaking up over, so this is where there was a lot of supply. So if we start breaking over 14,470, then we will square off these calls as they start expanding, or as these expand to 20 and this expands to like 33, 34, 35, we'll square these off and move them higher. And since a majority of our calls are at 14,950, for now an up move shouldn't bother us too much. Okay, so we're taking some kind of support here, and Bank Nifty quite flat as well. So what we've done is to balance the 2/5 of our calls which had been rolled down, we rolled up 2/5 of our puts. So basically taking in additional credit, adding slight amount of more risk reward to our spread by doing this. And yeah, currently we have two strangles, one which is 500 points and one which is 350 points. Sorry, one is 450 and one which is 350. So for now there's good amount of premiums. There is 46 points in the 450 points triangle, and yeah, 65 points in the 350 points triangle. And this is very good pricing, and right now there's a lot of build up of 14,700 put and 14,800 call. So 14,700 to 14,800 looking like some kind of range for today. We'll have to see if there's a break above and below, and the idea will be is if we break below 14,700, we'll move the rest of these calls here, and if we break towards 14,800, then we will move the rest of these puts here. So that is the game plan for now. We'll keep you posted. More or less the market is looking sideways, nothing noteworthy of mention from global cues overnight. Okay, so what has happened now is we dip towards the day's low, and then this green candle that formed, we use this to square off our 14,950 calls and move them to 14,900. The reason we had to do that is because in case there's a reversal, these puts will deflate quite quickly, but at the same time, in case there's a big cascade below 14,700, we're not expecting it, but we have to manage risk for it. We will start to have a major problem with this. Now, once again, if we start heading to 14,750 and head higher 14,770 more respectively, specifically, then we will move up these puts here. But for now, we're going to leave our calls at 14,900. The thing is, we have a lot of credit. On average, we have about 34-35 points of credit from the put side leg. So we need to balance that, and we can't have our calls sitting at 17 points. So we'll also have to tighten our stop losses in case we see a big move. But now basically we're coming in closer and taking on more credit and risk on the call side. The time is 12 o'clock, and we continue to hold a 350 points triangle, which has slightly less than 60 points in it now, 59. And the idea is that this triangle should not be worth more than 30-35 points tomorrow, in the best case scenario. So this triangle should continue to decay. We continue to remain range bound, and yeah, we continue to remain sideways for the day. We're holding above 14,700 but below 14,750
Financials initially earlier part of the day completely got massively sold into, and now have some kind of stability. And yeah, for now we have stop loss orders open. One really useful thing about this new software that I purchased is that I can just change it here and then apply to all my orders. Bam, everything is changed at this time, and it's not refreshed, but everything is 47 now. So yeah, really liking the new software. Shout out to the guy Shiva who put it together, made it, and helped me set it up. So thank you. Okay, so 1 o'clock update. Had to since we made a slight up move, decided to take in a little more put side credit, and moved up all the 14,550 puts to the 14,600. Now once again we are sitting on a little bit more than 10 points, so roughly 12 points is what we're up for now. We have orders. Stop losses will be moved in as the day goes on. The last 2.5 hours decay one day before the expiry should be really good. Currently the 300 points triangle is trading for something like 63, 64, and the idea will be to keep trailing as we go in case we see some kind of a big break, because more or less the entire day we have been sideways. Pharma is looking good, FMCG is looking good, banks looked really weak, financials in general in the morning, but now have picked up from the lows. Towards the end probably can buy some financial stocks in cash as well once again in this dip, so we'll keep you posted. For now still about 62, 63 points in this triangle. Okay, so this can be dangerous. We try to move up our puts for potentially this breakout, but that was clearly a misinterpretation, and now we're heading back lower. So having had moved up these puts, these expanded by 16 points, so I have moved away on the put side and will be moving the rest of these away as well. Re-entering here. Okay, expanded quite a bit. A lot of fear build up. We'll wait for 14,700 to break. 14,700 breaks, then we will move these to 14,500. So if we start testing 14,700, we'll have to also see what exactly is leading to this cascade. Okay, we'll have to get out of these for now. Okay, the time is 1:30. Had to do some switching around. Finally, with all the switching around, puts are now at 14,550 and calls at 14,850. Now the fear will be some kind of big up move once again, expanding these calls, but doesn't seem like it. There seems to be heavy call writing going on for now at 14,700, 750 and above. So as we stand, 62 points, 300 points triangle is still a decent holding. This move was difficult to manage. We did exactly the worst possible situation. We moved up our puts to protect this, and then those puts really expanded into this. Then we moved down our calls and moved away our puts as well. So was less swing, but what happens is when the market stagnates for so long, prices don't incorporate random moves of 60-70 points, and that can lead to quite a bump. So almost 100 points. But anyway, now that is sort of taken support and being retraced. Our position for now continues to remain balanced. So as the technical guys like to call it, good theta delta ratio, and there's still another 2 hours to go for market close, and this should decay by at least 15-20 points today. Okay, the time is 2:08, so 1 hour 20 minutes to go for close, and what I've done is moved in this triangle to 14,600 and 14,850 now. The idea will be, if we have some kind of trending move, then to get out. SLM orders are already there, 39 on the calls and 51 on the puts. A little more flexibility on the put side, and in case we see some kind of big move, we'll try to get out, or our SLMs will take us out more or less. And yeah, 1.5 hour to go. 250 points triangle, trading at close to 70, and tomorrow morning 250 points triangle shouldn't be worth more than 35-40. So Of course, that'll have the overnight component. By the end of today, towards the close, this should lose easily if we continue to stay in this very tight range. This has been a very tight range, but the rate at which this up move followed by down move happened caught us a little off guard. But yeah, if we continue to stay in this range, we should see another 15 to 20 points shaved off quite easily. Okay, the time is 2:17. We're seeing now an up move and potential retest of this swing high. What we'll do is we'll wait for 14,750 to be taken out and hold for about 5 to 10 minutes at least, so 2 candles above 14,750, or make like a 20-30 point move up, in which case during the momentum we will try to get out of these calls and move them to 14,900. So very small range day, but yeah, due to this call side expansion now, despite the puts having gone down, the strangle is actually gaining in value. So now the strangle is worth almost 70 plus. So that being the case, no need to react urgently to this and once again get reversed upon. We'll assume that the day's range will continue to hold and that we're not going to see a new day's high which will come from some kind of short covering yet. There doesn't seem to be any trigger for big massive short covering, so we'll continue to hold as is for now, and we'll keep you posted. We do have stop loss orders on the call side at 42. Okay, so I'm clearly making a mistake here. Right now, what happened is basically before I could try and cancel my stop loss orders, my stop loss on the 14,600 put got hit at 48 with basically hit my stop loss and exactly moved back. And the entire idea was to shift if we breach 1400 and stay below that. But unfortunately, what happened, my stop loss got hit, and then I had to, by the time I re-entered with the 14,550, I lost quite a bit to slippage. So I should have either kept more distance or placed the stop loss better. The stop loss should have been in something like 51, 52, so that just as 14,700 gets breached on the downside, it gets hit. Anyway, that was an execution error, more or less, and we continue to be range bound. And what is happening now is, since we're so accustomed lately to have breakout type of trends, each time it heads up, we're hoping, expecting rather, a short covering rally to come in. Each time it goes down, we're expecting a cascade to fill this gap. So that sort of preparation with that mindset is catching us off guard at times. Anyway, so that being the case, we are now back to the 300 point triangle, which continues to have about 55 points in it, and we'll just hold this till the end of the day, and we'll try not to overtrade. Now the only adjustment will be above 14,770 and below 14,700. So until then we won't extensively do anything. Okay, so about 17 minutes till we're going to more or less get auto squared off. The 300 point triangle has something like 50 points in it, and the idea is I have exit orders ready. So if I'm in a panic exit, I'm going to exit all the puts at once, but that will leave slippage in case the put side is bleeding, or the call side. If I can moderately exit, then the idea will be to exit 66 lots at a time, and that should give us less slippage. What will be the exit criteria? Now that we've made an up move back 14,700, once again our premiums will continue to decay. We won't have one-sided expansion, but this last minute move that we saw, not looking at charts anymore because right now only concerned with this reward. So this last minute move, if we start heading back here again, we're going to exit. That is basically if the puts start expanding to 32, 33, something like that. And on the call side, nothing. It doesn't seem like the call side is getting tested unless we see a 50 point up move, in which case we will exit the call side and trail the stop loss on the put side very small, but that would basically require momentum. Right now we're looking to close around 14,700, and if that's the case, this might lose another 4 or 5 points at least in the last 15 minutes that we have. So that's the plan. We'll keep you posted. Okay, so towards the end of the day, even though we're trading at the day's low, this call is trading 3 points above its day's high, because there, despite down moves, they're not enough people willing to sell the 14850 for less than 21 apparently. And we're also at basically the best mark to market that we've been all day. A slight up move to 14700 will really deflate this. The strangle itself is 47.48 now, and basically now we will be setting more or less a mark to market stop loss. So 270 will be the point. Now let's say 280 when we start exiting our entire position. So that's the plan. Actually, we're just going to exit now. There's 2 minutes left, so good enough to exit. We'll do the less slippage exit. Oh wait, my SLM orders are open, so it won't exit anything. The reason I'm exiting in batches instead of the whole quantity at once is because of slippage. If I place too many orders, I will basically take up the entire space on the bid ask. Fair enough, I was still about quite a bit of slippage actually, but cannot be helped. And yeah, Zerodha will auto square us off on these. So more or less, it's a decent day. Say like a 2% return on capital. We got faked out twice. It would have been actually quite an easy day to manage, but we got faked out twice. Once by this, and then once here with the immediate reversal. It was a very tight range, and actually a brilliant. Had I kept my strangle range wider and didn't have to adjust as quickly, would have worked out better. But hindsight is 2020, and lately in the market we're getting very used to. We're getting super used to it being a trending sort of a move on either direction, at least for a few hundred points. The problem is when you have a market where your average daily range is 200 points and suddenly you have a 100-point day, then that's a tricky market. Okay, that will be squared off by 0. But yeah, overall, about a 2% return. Thank you so much for watching, and should be back at the office most likely either tomorrow or day after. So depending on that, the quality of the video will vary. The voice quality on this is not going to be great. I apologize for that. We'll keep you posted. Have a great evening. Bye bye.
Thank you for watching. Please post any questions you have in the comment section. Also, do not forget to like and share the video and subscribe to the channel. To find us on Twitter, Telegram, and Facebook, use the username NiftyBN. Also, we post some of our trades to the community tab, so do not forget to check that from time to time.